I met my ex-husband when I was around about 24. What initially attracted me to him was his sheer confidence and his zest in life. It's only later that I realized it really bordered on something dangerously pathological to the point of being narcissistic. He would initially become very passive-aggressive, and then once the argument still didn't pan out his way, he would literally become quite physical. For me, the final tipping point was I had discovered that he was having an extramarital affair. From there, the divorce proceedings ran very quickly, and I had afforded him the opportunity and the rights to have contact with the kids. And on this particular occasion, when he arrived at the house, he then roped me into the room and said that we needed to have some very important conversations. Instead of that happening, he proceeded to pin me down and he raped me. I literally became so numb in that moment because I didn't know what to think and to feel at the time. It felt unreal. He's in my house right now and he's claiming the right to my body, even though I'm repeatedly saying no, no, no. And eventually when this episode was over, I just said, "Do you realize what you just did to me?" And he kind of was just, "Yeah, but you're still my wife. So I can do with you whatever I want to." And I turned around to him and I said to him, "I'm going to go to the police right now." And he said, "Go run. Just remember, by the time you get there, I've got a connection there. So that docket is just going to disappear." I feel that the justice system fails women. And I say that that is the case, not just because I hold personal experience, but I also hold professional experience. At the time when I was going through my own personal trauma, I was also working on my PhD. I had by then already interviewed about 8 different women who survived corrective rape. And without any doubt, all of those women's stories had one thing in common, and that is police failure. So the overriding thing that made me decide to process my pain differently and not have him arrested was it wouldn't benefit me in any way emotionally. It wouldn't take away my pain and the humiliation and the shame that he brought to my life. What took me years to process, and that in particular was the shame that I internalized, is no more residing within me as a human being. It took me a lot of work on myself to reallocate that shame and that blame exactly to where it belongs, and that is to the perpetrator. So the most important piece of recommendation I could give to women is to first and foremost break the silence. Without any doubt, it's the toughest obstacle to overcome. And then secondly, if you have a support system, allow them to support you. I wish we could shift our mentality and the powers that be that pump so much money into campaigning around 16 days of activism. But when 16 days of activism is over, the issue still continues. We cannot just tackle one thing if we want to undo this belief system. We have to have tough conversations in our households with our boys and with our men about entitlement. But then we also have to speak about culture. We also have to speak about religion. We also have to speak about how we socialize men and boys. Because I am not your property. I am not an object.